Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're on this Monday morning. What a way to start the week, to turn on Panhandle Outdoors and see all this exciting outdoor things happening. Makes you want to just jump out of bed, get to work so you can get outdoors and do some stuff. Our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Most of the rain's getting out of here. We've had a good one, and it's going to be a good week, looks like, coming up. High today is going to be 75, low on 62. Not much temperature variance. Water temperature right at 70 degrees. Every Monday, I do a Monday moon forecast brought to us by Sand Hill Seafood up on Highway 77. Had some good fresh catfish there the other day. The moon is waxing now. We're 1 week away from the full moon of April, and it's going to be right at the beginning of May also. So this is going to be an exceptional week of fishing. I'll tell you that right now. Freshwater and saltwater. I'm just going to leave it there, put that on the table, and you go with it. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn here on 23rd Street. We're looking at a low tide this morning at 2:05 and a high tide at 9:54. Good strong tides, and today and the next couple of days, this weekend, Saturday's going to be just flat tide. So go ahead and do some tidal bay fishing now. Okay, our marine forecast is coming out of southwest at about 13. Later on tonight, it's going to come out of west about 7. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with our special guest. All right, welcome back to our special guest, Austin Gibbons. Good morning, Austin.
Hey, good morning.
Austin, one of my former students, and Austin is living the dream. When he's in my outdoor class, I can tell he loves the outdoors, and we always talked about it. I always saw him with a smile on his face. I never saw him mad or anything, so are we okay on that? So, Austin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 22. After high school, I went to Gulf Coast College and did some of my prereqs for my nursing class. And when I got done with all my prereqs, I decided to take a semester off, and it turned into be a year off school and do some hiking, some traveling. Went to the Appalachian Trail, saw some family, went to Portland with one of my good buddies, Ryan Harold. He moved up there, so spent about a month up there, did some hiking and stuff. I'm also the captain of the Sea Dragon out there on the beach, the big pirate ship that y'all see.
You got your captain's license?
Yes, sir. I got my 100-ton.
100-ton? Mm-hmm. That's strong. So, well, you can see he's sort of caught in. He's in a situation in life where, you know, finishing school and all, had to assume responsibilities to the family and work and all that. So he's doing. This is a great age. And I tell these young people, you know, to do a lot of these things when you're young. And he flat out took our advice because he's been doing some exciting things. I followed him on Facebook, and he recently, and I ran into him the other day. I said, Austin, you got to come on the show and share with these folks what all you've been doing. So what made you decide, first of all, your background? I know you all camped and all growing up, so you were exposed to some good outdoor stuff. Oh,
yes, sir. Yeah. All my life, my mom and dad, they took me camping every chance we got. I grew up on the water, so that's one reason I got my captain's license, because I grew up on a boat fishing and playing around and stuff like that. And then my brothers and sisters, they love being outdoors, and I do too. And my parents, they just really got us out there and encouraged us to be outside instead of playing video games and stuff.
So, very good. And then you had outdoor ed.
Yeah, I didn't have outdoor ed. That influenced me a lot.
I think I gave you an A in that class, I believe. But anyway, so what decided when you decided to get on the Appalachian Trail? We talk about it as you know, from North Georgia to Maine, and we've talked about it off and on the years on the show here, and I've done a good segment of it, and I love to see. I encourage our young people to do it. So, what made you decide to get on this?
Oh, so when I was 13, my oldest brother, Brad, he started taking me out there hiking, and we started doing 3-4 day trips, and just every chance we got, we just do little trips like that. And so over the years, I've grew to love it, and it was just a great pastime. And then 2 years ago, I guess, me and my brother and a couple others, we went on about a week-long hiking trip, and we took my little niece, and we were just out there, and then something, you know, I just felt like I really needed to take a trip like this. Like, I needed to go and do something fun, something great like this, something challenging, and get out by myself. And so I decided right then I was going to take a trip like that and do at least a month. And so I stuck to it. I told everyone I was going to do it, so I went back out, and I started planning. And about a year later, I took off. My goal was to be out for at least a month, and I ended up doing 2 months.
2 months on the trail, just you and the dog. We're going to talk about your dog later, but solo trip and all.
Yes, sir.
And we've got some pictures here. We're going to show a couple of pictures. We got all kind of equipment we're going to show. And I know we talked about you did some hiking locally and all. You used to train in all some of the areas. Where'd you go?
Yeah. So some of the areas I went to Tria State Park, which is up 20.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, right?
Yeah, so I did Tria State Park. That's where I took Sailor to train him for his first time out in the woods. And then I walked some of the Florida Trail, did some segments around there and stuff. And but mostly Tria. I did a lot of trips to Tria, just doing a good 2-day hike. Doing the Tria Challenge.
And you stay on the trail at that one. It's got a couple of primitive campsites. That's nice, isn't it? It's a little golden jewel, and it's got some good hills.
Yeah, it's got some good hills, some good
canyons. All right, let's look at this first picture. Tell us about this one right here.
So that's day one. That's when my mom and dad dropped me off.
I didn't know if they're going to see you anymore.
Yeah, I told them I'd see y'all in a few months. And yeah, that's just Sailor and I just right before, nice and clean. We smelled good.
This is up in North Georgia, or where was this?
Yeah, that was in North Georgia.
Okay.
That was right at, I forget what gap that was.
Okay, I know they're going together. All right, what is this one?
So
got a little beard going.
Yeah, they got a little facial hair going finally. That's when I finished my first segment of the trail. I'm crossing in from Georgia to North Carolina. And man,
there's the sign, North Carolina, Georgia. Yep.
And that particular day too, it was dry on water, and Sailor and I, we both were pretty thirsty, and about a mile after that picture, we finally ran into a good stream, and so I was kind of delusional right there.
Okay, well, let's show one more before the break. Tell us about this one.
Oh, that's one of my favorite ones. That's on top of Silver Ball Mountain, and on top of that mountain, had a good experience. It was one of the biggest hikes that I had to do yet. And once I got up there, it was hot, hungry, and it was a big tourist spot too, because tourists, they can drive right up there to it and then walk a few feet up to the bald, and you just get a big 360 view. And there's a church group there, and one of the ladies from the church group, she was an apple farmer, and she brought a bunch of fresh apples, and man, she came over and saw my dog tired and gave us both apples, and tell you what, that was the sweetest, juiciest apple I've ever had.
You brought up something. Food just tastes better out in the woods, don't it?
It sure does.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back with Austin. Welcome back. Now we're going to introduce our new guest. This
right here is Sailor Givens. He's my hiking buddy. He's 2 years old. He's a good boy.
And he's got, I know he's got some lab in him, and what else?
Yeah, he's a lab and Australian Shepherd mix, and notice when he starts working out and stuff, his eyes get real dark and bloodshot, so I think he got some bloodhound in him too.
I believe he does. We write a country song about that. But anyway, let's move on. Let's finish these pictures. We're going to get back to equipment and how Sailor helped you on the trail. So we got this. We finished on Bald Mountain. So tell us about it. Now, this don't look like you're backpacking right here. It looks like you're tailgating.
So right there, that was a good moment. I met some guys that really blessed my trip. It was a group of about 13 dudes. They ended up walking the same distance I was in the same direction for about a week. And there's this group of men that got together once a year to keep up with each other and do a week-long trip.
Cool.
And one of the guys, he backed out a little bit early. His name was Jack. He was 85 years old.
Wow.
And so he got in his car and he met us sometimes when we crossed the road. And that morning, he surprised us with some donuts and coffee. And I became good friends with them, so they let me have some. And man, I tell you what, that was the best thing ever. Some cheap donuts and coffee.
And you understand what I was going to tell you. You understand on Appalachian Trail, you're way up in the woods for a long time. Every now and then you hit civilization and come out. So that was a good one.
Yeah, and all I ate, my diet was oatmeal for breakfast. For lunch, I had either Spam and tuna on a tortilla roll.
Okay.
And then supper, I just had a freeze-dried meal every day.
Freeze-dried.
So that donut was special.
Okay. And then Was he tired?
He was very tired.
And how did he hold up on the trail?
He did very well. I started him off doing about 8-10 miles a day, and then about a week later started pushing it up, and we started averaging anywhere from 15 to 20 miles a day. And
no kidding.
Yeah. And
y'all hitting that many miles?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And there's one section, there's a week where I didn't do anything less than 20.
Wow.
And
that's strong, folks. Usually 7 to 10 is average. So that you were hitting it hard. Spam. He has to spam with you.
Spam.
So,
I love spam now.
And the last picture, we're going to get on the equipment. I want to show one more picture. That's a great picture there.
That was on Charles Bunyan. So on the edge of that rock right there that kind of goes up, if you're looking at it from the outside, it looks like a big bunion.
Oh,
so
cool.
They named it after a dude named Charles. And
Okay. All right, some good pictures and all. He only had 300 something, but we're going to just show some. Now, the first thing, he's got his backpack here. I'm just going to hold it up now. We always try to hit 25 to 30 pounds at the most. And I started picking his up right here. And this thing, how much does this thing weigh?
Right now, it probably weighs about, with food and stuff, it would weigh about 40 pounns.
40 pounds. Now, so you put this on your back, 40 pounds, and that's really strong. So before we get into it, you hit that many miles a day, and the designated camping areas, because you couldn't just stop anywhere.
Oh, you could actually.
But I mean, there wasn't, a lot of times there wasn't room. I mean, sometimes slant and everything like that. But yeah, you can camp anywhere, but it's not convenient at all. So when you started putting this together, what's some of the first things you thought about when you started getting your backpack together?
The first thing I thought about was to keep dry. So I definitely invested in some very good rain gear and stuff by Outdoor Research, and that's the first thing, because you don't want to be wet and cold out there. So, and then second thing was a good sleeping bag. And it's got to be, the thing about backpacking stuff, you got to get all the gear that compacts down and that's light. So that you got to spend a lot of people, when they go cheap and they buy kind of heavier stuff, and I made that mistake a little bit and got some heavy stuff, and I regretted it. So you kind of want to save your money and invest in some good gear.
Good point. Good quality equipment and all. What about your shoes? What kind of shoes? How's that?
There you go.
All right.
So I wore some Merrell's hiking shoes. I didn't do boots. The first time I started hiking, I wore boots.
Okay.
And it's good for hunting and stuff. It's not good for hiking long distances. For most people, anyways. Everyone's foot's different, but the majority of people, shoes are better. So I went to these waterproof Merrell's, and they were good for about 200 miles. And then after that, they burned out, and I did 475. And I didn't want to buy new shoes, so I just wore them, and I regretted it. Made a big mistake.
So the last half you wore. So you went 475 miles
yes, sir.
in 2 months.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And that's going through the mountains, folks. If you try to put that in perspective, it's not like getting out on the highway and all.
Next time I do it, though, I highly suggest anyone that does do it to get a good pair of running shoes, just like some trail running shoes that's flexible. They're not going to be waterproof, but the comfort is a big thing. Like feet are probably one of the most important things.
To me, it was a cushion on those rocks and all. You want to, because they stick up those boulder little rocks and all. So the cushion was so important to us. Now, what about your fire starter?
Fire starter, so I used cotton ball and Vaseline. So
we used that in class. I remember that.
Yeah, I think I might have learned it there. So
I think you did, because we talked about how unique. Do you have any of those in here?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I do.
What we're going to take an early break. We're going to try to get some of this equipment spread out for you, and this is really cool. Hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. So we're going to take a break and come right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with Austin Gibbons, outdoorsman extraordinaire, doing a lot of exciting things and all. Let's look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Ward Outriggers. They're 6:35 to 8:35 this morning, and 7:04 to 9:04 tonight. Let me ask you this question while I'm thinking of it, because I forget it. Did you ever see any bears?
No, sir. Did not see any bears. Saw some bear poop.
Okay, that's close. Well, you know they're close by then. We've been spreading out equipment. I put a sailor down over there, laying down, taking a nap. But let's talk about, first thing I want to talk about, we had all kind of fire matches and all that over the years and all, but one of the kids brought this to class several years back, and tell us about how that works.
So this right here, that's just Vaseline with a cotton ball soaked in it. That's super light, super compactable, and you just take a little, about yay big, this little ball, put it up underneath your little twigs, light it up, and it'll burn long enough and hot enough to get some small wet wood going.
Yeah, it was amazing. And, I didn't know about that till not too long ago. And this little cotton ball is Vaseline. Okay, now we've got all kinds of different things. Like you got a segment, things in segments inside the pack itself. And I noticed you got a garbage bag over a lot of it. It's like a double waterproof.
Yeah. So one thing that I do and a lot of other hikers do, they line their backpack up with a garbage bag in the inside. That way, if it does rain and it gets past your rain guard, then all your stuff inside keeps dry. And you don't not want to do that. And the one time I didn't, I tore my bag and I threw it away. And the one time I did not wrap it on the trail, my sleeping bag and everything got soaked. It got down to about 15 degrees that night.
Oh my goodness.
And I was cuddled up next to Sailor, all wet, and I didn't sleep at all. I was just shaking.
Oh my goodness. That's kind of adventures you run into, and you learn something on every trip, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir.
You were mentioning this right here. Was this?
Yeah, so that's my sleeping bag, or pad, not bag, and it's inflatable, and it's.
You didn't want crazy about it, were you?
Yeah, I was not crazy about it. It's heavy. It takes up a lot of room. The thing I liked about it was $20, and my other one broke right before the trip. My good one had a nice. Kelly roll-up inflatable, and it compacted down about that big, and it was about a pound. If that, it was might have been less than that. But
okay, and let's see, your stove here. And
yeah, that's my stove.
This is really cool. How you understand a little propane here, and of course you put all kinds of stuff in it and everything, and you cook this. That freeze-dried food tastes pretty good after.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I use to cook all my meals. Boil water for my coffee in there. Boil water for my freeze-dried meals.
Yeah. Did you plan your meals ahead of time pretty well, or you just ordered your potluck?
Yeah, I just I stopped about every week and was able to hike into a town and resupply on food. There's usually an outfitter that sold.
Yeah, close by.
So I just buy some food and hop back on the trail the same day and get going. I carry about 5 days worth.
All right, show some more stuff you got. What is this?
This right here is my rain jacket. It's for hiking really because it compacts down like this.
Yeah.
And it unfolds.
Well, it's going to rain up in the mountain.
Oh yeah.
It's going to rain.
And it's very good to keep the wind off and everything too. So this thing right here, it'll keep you dry.
What time of the year were you up there?
I went in October and went till November. Yeah, I went the opposite way. I started south and headed north, and so I was finishing when all the southbounders were. I was starting when everyone was finishing.
Coming in, so you passed the trail. Were a lot of them?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Most of them have really good disposition and love the outdoors, don't they? I enjoy talking to them.
That's probably the best thing about the trail is the people that you met out there. It's a different breed.
It really is. Okay, another couple other things real quick.
Yeah, this right here is my sleeping bag.
Okay. It's good.
Yeah, that's super light, and it's a 20-degree bag, so it's good for 20 degrees. And then I got a liner too. Yeah. Let's see. I'll get it out later, but it's a liner gets it down to 0 degrees.
Oh, it does? So, that helps a lot.
Yes, sir.
And the ground's always cold.
Oh, yes, sir. This right here is my tent. It's 4 pounds. It's a 2-person tent, so it barely fits me because I'm so tall. And then the square sailor night. Right now it is because I used it yesterday.
I couldn't get in contact with them the last couple of days. I saw them last week about coming on the show, and I couldn't find them the last couple of days. Where were you? I was at
Blackwater River, up there near Milton.
You were canoeing an overnight trip?
Yes, sir. I was canoeing down, did about a 28-mile stretch. Just me, Sailor, and my other little dog, Lucky. I got a little beagle.
Okay. Did you camp out? You camped overnight?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I camped right there on the riverbanks.
That's close by here in Panhandle. You always get some exciting things going on. So that's why I couldn't find him. He was up there in the woods.
Yeah, I highly recommend that.
Yeah, Blackwater. Okay, what's over there?
This right here is just, so they have hiker boxes along the trail, like at hostels or along just anywhere. So people like me, if they pack too much, which I did at the very beginning of the trip, they throw stuff away. You don't want to just waste it, so they have hiker boxes. So someone didn't need this, and this was perfect for sailor.
Oh, cool.
I picked it up. It's super light, super comfy. I would sleep on it if it was bigger.
That's cool.
Just something he can lay down on,
That's
get off
a
the
neat
floor.
idea too, just sort of swap stuff.
Yeah, everyone swaps stuff, gives each other stuff.
Okay, and the last one right there, we got to move along.
This right here is the most important thing I brought, is my Bible.
This is cool. Tell us what, I know that's really cool. Tell us how close spiritually you felt like out there. You mentioned that one. You had a great story on Facebook.
Yeah, man, it was unlike anything else. What I did, the reason I really wanted to take this trip was to just kind of get closer with God and kind of do my own little walk and stuff. And so I cut out Facebook, Instagram, TV, all social media. I even told all my friends and family, I said, hey, no offense, but I'll talk to y'all sometime around Thanksgiving. I won't be gone, I'm gonna be off the grid. And the only thing I took for entertainment was my Bible. Didn't watch any TV or music or anything really. If I got bored, I'd read my Bible.
That's great. And that's great. You felt a lot closer than you out there.
Yes, sir. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, we've got about a minute or two left. Future plans.
Future plans, hopefully I'll finish up my nursing degree, and I would like to be a traveling RN, and then I want to continue to be the captain of the Sea Dragon out there in Panhandle City. Yeah. Because I love being on the water. I got to be on the water at some point, so I do that during the summer, and then
traveling nursing in the
yes, sir.
Time. That's a pretty good plan right there.
And then be outdoors as much as I can.
Yeah, and you got your dogs with you.
Yes, sir.
That sounds good. You're driving a Jeep, so you're consummate outdoorsman. And I had, like I said, I had Austin in class, and what a thrill it was. Enjoyed having, he always had a smile on his face. Always talked outdoor stuff. So, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, and we'll stay in touch and all. You back on social media a little bit.
Yes, sir.
A little bit, but yeah, you got the right idea. Get off the grid sometime. All right, yes, folks. You can see what we're talking about, how to enjoy the outdoors, and how it can be a big part of your life. And I want to encourage everybody to get outdoors and do some fun things. Enjoy them with your dogs, your family, whatever. Meanwhile, today, you do something good today for your fellow man. Take some time, read the Bible like Austin did. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.